Happy New Year, it's 2023. I'm out in the garden, and in this video I'm going to talk about my plans for the garden and also for my social media streams in 2023. Now, I know a lot of people have been stung recently by the really cold weather that we had in December 2022, and people have lost lots of plants because it was a first cold spell for 4 or 5 years at least in most areas, and we saw temperatures down to -10, which is too much for a lot of the plants that get through in mild winters, including things like smaller bootier palms, sago palms, and Briar and Marta as well when they're not established. And you can see damage to all the tree ferns as well, and they could possibly die if they weren't protected at those cold temperatures. So in 2023 I am going to concentrate more videos on the hardier plants, and the area I'm in now is a good example of a really hardy planting scheme where, again, we talk about the blue bamboos either side here. Got wonderful trachycarpus palms which can come in many different forms. I'm lucky enough that my tree ferns have come through green. I know not everybody's had such mild temperatures as what I've had, even though they were very cold, but they didn't get extreme here. We had -5.4 at the coldest. It didn't get too cold to blacken off the tree ferns, for example. But I will do more videos in the future on the hardier plants that you can plant out and not protect and not worry about them getting damaged or getting killed over winter, because we want to enjoy our gardens. And yes, some people like me can go to extremes of protecting their plants, but not everybody has the time or inclination to do so. They want the exotic looking garden in the summer months when they're outside in the warm weather, but they don't want to be worrying about those same plants in the winter months or going out and protecting them. They just want plants that will get on with it and look good all year round, or come back and look good in the summer months. So I'll be doing more videos like that in 2023. So it's New Year's Day 2023. I'm out in the garden. It's not too cold, it's quite mild in fact, and thankfully it's not raining at the moment. And we're going to have a look at a few things in the garden. We're going to look at my plans for the year and also what I'm going to do on social media as well this year. I want to say a big thank you to everybody that supported me on my channel, on my YouTube channel, Yorkshire Kris Exotic Gardening, and also on Twitter and Facebook and everything else, Instagram, and the website as well. On the website, which is greatcliffexoticgardening.co.uk, I will do more regular blog updates of the garden, so written form rather than the videos. And also there is the open garden days this year as well. So the garden will be open in August on a Friday evening, and then a couple of weekends following that as well. The dates are on the National Garden Scheme website and also link through on my website as well. So with that being said, let's talk about the plans for the garden. So my garden here now in Great Cliff in Criggleston, West Yorkshire, Northern England, is been here for 10 years now. We started out with a blank canvas basically of a very long lawn, lots of old but dying silver birch trees, an apple tree, and some dilapidated greenhouses as well. I cleared all that and I quickly started about making an exotic garden, and unbelievably 10 years have flown by. I was 30 when we got this garden, now 40, and the garden's grown up. I've grown up a bit over in that time as well, and the feature plants that were very small 10 years ago have developed nicely now. So we're looking at the palm trees, all the palm trees along the fence line, but we've got other palm trees and bamboos and other plants that are growing nicely as well. And for the last few years I've been concentrating on using bananas and summer colour like tophonias, sunflowers, things like that, just to give that big impact of colour and form that grows really quickly. But now as the palms develop, got the tree ferns establishing as well, then they're taking more of a presence in the garden and more dominating features, and it means there is less space because they've grown bigger for other sort of annual plants around them. And I really want to sort of cut back a bit on the bananas and things and sort of concentrate on the hardier backbone plants, especially now, you know, we've just had a bad spell in December where, you know, sort of tender plants look a bit worse for wear in the garden, and I want to sort of really concentrate on the plants that get through all weathers looking really good, and then add in the annual splash of colour as well to make it look like a truly exotic tropical garden. So the main first big area of my garden as you walk through the back gate and across the bark chippings is this area, and normally in summer you'll see here all the bananas and cannas that go way above my head cover all this bed and look fantastic. But in winter obviously we've got the remains of those plants all flopped to the ground, and there's quite a lot of space here where we don't have any evergreen interest in the middle. We do have some bamboos, so we've got this fantastic blue bamboo here, which is Berinda papyrifera 1046, and it's got stunning blue canes, and even in winter like now it looks absolutely fantastic. And then along the fence line we have all the Trachycarpus palm species. So every species pretty much is in a line along here. They're quite close together, but it gives you a good comparison between the growth rate, because we're all planted at the same time, and also it shows you how they compare in their form as well. So be careful where I step here. But in the middle between that bamboo and all these beautiful palm trees, we've got a lot of space. I'm going to keep this space so that I can have some instant impact of the summer colour of the quick growing bananas and cannas, so they'll stay in this area. But I've got a couple more really beautiful palm trees that I do want to add into this area, because we did have a nice Butia catriensis that died a couple of winters ago, proven not to be that hardy at all, so that still needs to be dug up, and I can put hopefully in hardier and probably more elegant palm tree in this area of the garden, and I'll be doing that later in the year. And further down there's another area where the border comes out, and I've got another beautiful palm tree, not too big at the moment, but as soon as I get it in the ground hopefully it'll establish over the next couple of years and then look magnificent in the coming decade. What are your plans for 2023? What new plants are you going to plant in your garden? Post your comments below and I'll answer any questions you may have about those plants and the plants you're going to be growing. Now in this big wide open area of the garden, got the wood chip path down here, and this is covering a lot of things underneath because we've got the old lawn under here, we've got some brick paths under here, we had the sort of raised beds where we had the vegetables in here as well. All that was taken away and this was put down. It's a nice soft surface, but it's not a permanent surface. It does need topping up every sort of 2 or 3 years to keep it looking nice as the wood degrades down. So I want to, hopefully this year, I want to actually put a permanent surface down here, so some nice paving over this area. My only issue is, as this area carries on behind the greenhouse, we've got the trampoline in this area, so obviously you can't have a hard surface underneath the trampoline, so it might be that I just patio the area here, and then this area I'll have to leave for a couple more years until the trampoline is no longer in use. And then eventually in this area I'll put a really nice sort of jungle cabin in this area, so a really nice sort of social area, and then some seats over on the patio area as we move out into this part of the garden. Now I talked about palm trees getting bigger over the years earlier in the video, and this is probably a prime example. This is my Jabea chilensis, which was planted in the centre of a 2.4 by 2.4 metre or 8 by 8 foot bed right in the centre here, and over the years the leaves have got bigger and longer, and it means now when I'm walking down the paths I've got leaves in my face basically. And so the question is, what do I do about that moving forward? One thing I have been doing is trimming back the lower leaves, but this doesn't look nice, it's not great for the palm, and it ages the leaves quite quickly as well. But it means you can walk down the paths without getting a big hard palm tree in your face. But the issue I have is I want to keep paths close to the palm because I don't want to change these too much, but I don't want to be cutting it back. But one thing's got to give. So what I think I'm going to do is allow the newer leaves that are coming out here to come over the path, because they are getting taller now. The palm is getting higher and higher, so the leaves aren't affecting too many people. Yes, they're affecting me because I'm still very tall, but a lot of people can walk under it. But I might have to do a little bit of a detour path around this area. And looking at the paths as well, we've got the wooden paths built on sleepers that started 9 years ago now in this part of the garden. Some areas are a bit younger than this, but you know, the wood doesn't last forever. It is soft wood, yes, it's treated, but it won't last forever. So I need to start thinking about a more permanent solution for these paths, and it gives me a good opportunity to think, do I want to keep these geometric paths where they are, or do I want to make more meandering, perhaps brick paths going around the garden? So it might completely change the flow around the plants, and it allows me then to sort of not go too close to some of the big palm trees. It's not just this Jabea that's got really big over the years. We've got the Trachycarpus fortunii in places. We've got some Butias further down the garden that really spread out really wide, and it's getting quite difficult to get past those. So I'll just show you a few more of those further down the garden. This is another example. This is a Butia odorata planted as a very small palm, and as you can see, it looks a bit ugly now because I had to cut back all the leaves on this side. It was only planted probably about 40 centimetres away from the edge of the path. So if you're planting a palm in 2023, I would advise you to plant it way further back from a path. If it's something like a Butia, you know, plant it at least 1 metre, maybe 2 metres into the bed if you don't want the leaves coming out, because it will make a huge spread. This has made a spread of about sort of 3 metres. You can see how much space they really need. And just behind me, I've got these Trachycarpus princeps hybrids, and again I've had to cut quite a lot of leaves off to get past it. But luckily, most of these Trachycarpus palms are very upright, unlike the Butias that go out a lot before they start going up. So in a year or two, we'll be able to walk past all the Trachycarpus palms without getting a big leaf in our faces. And obviously with this part of the garden, one of the big issues is we have a couple of swings in it. So this is a children's play area, but where my legs are kicking, we've got the tree ferns here. These tree ferns look fantastic, they're still green even through the cold weather we've had, but the area where the tree ferns are is very sort of congested now. And what I'd like to do eventually is make more of the area here where the swing is into a tree fern area. So move some of these tree ferns, add more tree ferns to this area. Also allow the bamboos to really take over this area. So this will be a real sort of Australasian jungle style area with the eucalyptus above us, the tree ferns, tall grasses and bamboos with a nice little seating area as well. But it will mean it will be shady, which I quite like because we've got lots of sunny areas in the garden. But this will be a nice shady area in the garden in the coming years. So 5 things you'll see on my channel in 2023 will be more how-to videos. So we've already got plenty of things like how to grow bananas from seed, how to grow cannas from seed. I'll be doing more how-to germination videos in the future. I'll also be doing more walkthroughs of other people's gardens so you can see exotic gardens from right across the UK and the different range of plants that can be grown in the UK. I'll be doing more videos where I'm actually physically doing more in the garden, whether that be digging, doing some hard landscaping, planting out for summer colour, or doing more permanent planting as well. I'll be featuring all those videos in my channel this year. I'll be doing more live Q&As throughout the season, so they're question and answer sessions live on YouTube where you can pose your questions live as it happens and I'll answer in real time. I'll be adding more to my blog on my Great Cliff Exotic Gardening website as well. So that won't be video, that'll be actually text with photographs of how the garden is developing throughout the year. Something to read rather than watching videos all the time. And I'll be doing more live garden talks to gardening groups across the region and country as well. So if you want to see me live, I'll be doing the garden talks wherever I'm booked basically. So you can book through my website if you want to book me to do a talk, and I'll do all sorts of subjects from developing exotic gardens to my journey here, looking at hardy evergreens and also summer colour as well. So you can support me on my channel in various ways. Obviously subscribing, liking is totally free and it means more people get to see these exotic gardening videos. Obviously you can leave a tip on the Ko-fi, the coffee link below as well if you want to support my channel directly. And obviously just by watching my videos I'll get some advert commission through YouTube. As you probably know, that's how a lot of content creators get a lot of their income, and by doing so all the income I get from this channel I plough directly back into the garden, and most of that is basically by getting more equipment to make better videos, so be it upgraded equipment and like microphones and cameras and things like that. Any money I make, which isn't a lot to be honest, goes into creating better videos for you to enjoy, and also it allows me to spend more time in the garden doing things like this. So thank you for supporting my channel so far. Hope you enjoy my videos. Got a big palm tree leaf blowing in the background there. Hope you continue to watch them, and hope you have a fantastic 2023 in your garden, and hopefully along with myself and other great content creators we can inspire you to grow and plant and create an amazing exotic garden.